outside. Bark, bark. Bark, bark. Come here, Bark. Go outside. Good boy. Good boy. Last weekend was Memorial Day, and we got our garage straightened up for our business change. And I actually got to work on a project out there this week. It was so much fun. This weekend, I want to start on that picket fence wall that I talked about behind my, yeah, he's over there, he's fine, behind the workbench area. So it's first thing in the morning, it's early. You can see by the sun, super early. Let me get over here. And I'm hoping to catch the snakes before the warmth of the day comes and they get active. Here's the deal. I'm staring at a pile of picket fence sections that we've kept in store. Like, we've made a lot of picket fence projects. And I'm staring at that pile now, and I'm concerned that when I move that pile of wood, there will be some scattering on the ground. So I have my shoes on to cover my feet because they're not going to bite. We don't have poisonous snakes in Delaware, supposedly. I just don't want them touching my feet. So I'm going to go over there. I'm going to knock down these fence panels. I'll show you here in a second. And I'm hoping that the scurrying goes without incident, if you know what I mean. And I'm going to let them dry. Well, anyway, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, but let me get this part of it conquered because I'm a little nervous. Okay, that was much easier than I thought. I did not see one little wiggle. No snakes. I saw a lot of dead locust, like a shell, that laid like a shell. If I see one, I'll show you up close. But they're all spread out. I got 4 panels. I got my wagon set out so that I can take it over to the other side of our property. Let me just say we have about 1 1/3 acres, and about 1/3 of it is very wooded, and that's where we store this kind of thing. So yeah, I'm going to load these up, get them over to my other driveway over near my workshop, scrub them, bleach them, and then let them dry in the sun for a good part of the day, and then I'm going to disassemble. Well, you'll see, because I'm going to take you right along. This is how I've cleaned these picket fence sections for years. I like to keep them, if I can, all in one piece because then they're easier to manage. It's less hassle, and you can kind of batch clean a whole bunch at the same time if they're still attached. So I have my bucket of water filled with a lot of bleach. I don't know what the ratio is, just a lot of bleach. And you can already see the difference here. So I know it's early and the light is harsh this time of the day here in this area of our yard. And my workshop, which is right there. You saw that last weekend. Here's one that's been bleached, and here's one that has not yet been bleached. So I just take my broom and use that as my scrub brush. I throw the bleach water all over, let it dry out. I will rinse them. I'll flip them over, do the other side, and then I'll let these boards just air dry out here in the sun. You can see we have a nice sunny area. I'll just let them air dry in the sun, and they'll be ready to start building later this afternoon. All of my picket sections, you're not going to be able to see them because believe me, they're out there in the bright sunlight in the driveway drying. I had to pop in while I was editing this video and tell you about my new prescription glasses. Got them from Hip Optical. Aren't they so cool? I love the frames. I love how lightweight they are. They fit so well. And the greatest part, for me at least, is that they're made here in the United States. All of the glasses are only $95. Let me tell you a couple of other things about Hip Optical. I ordered the glasses from my phone. I was able to take a photo of my prescription and send it to them, and within days my glasses arrived. The lenses are ultra thin, and that means the glasses are really lightweight, and look how stylish they are. With every pair of glasses that is purchased, they donate to a person in need. That makes me feel so good. I get my glasses for $95, and I know that someone out there is also receiving an amazing pair of glasses. You can click the link in my description, and Hip Optical will take off $15. And if you order in the next 2 days, you're going to get $30 off of 2 pairs. I love the fact that I can have stylish glasses at such an inexpensive price and know that they're quality lenses. I'm just going to let them sit out there for a while longer. I decided to go ahead and paint my workbench. And Steve built me this several years ago, and I've used it a lot. I love this thing. I just wanted to get rid of the red. You know, I'm into change, and that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to paint it white. I've started off with a heavy-duty primer. That's the gray. And this is a great primer, by the way. It's by a company called Ecos Paint. It's super thick. It's kind of this consistency of pudding. I'm not kidding. It's really thick. But I wanted to cover the red because I'm going to eventually paint it white, and I was concerned that the red might bleed through. I didn't want to deal with it, so I just decided to go ahead and prime. So I'm priming now. While it's drying, I'll start pulling all those picket fence sections apart. Alrighty, let's talk about what I've just done. I'll show you the pile that I just finished. But with each board, after they were taken apart with the crowbar, I had a stack of them here on my wagon. This is the railing part. I'm going to save these because I make other projects out of those for sure. And then here are the pickets. I've got it up on my workbench. And what I have to do is back out each nail. This is what I mean. This is the back side of it here, and this is the nail. They're rusted, so I use my hammer and I tap until it pops through to the other side. I do that with all the nails, and it's only at the areas where the railing was. Here, and it's real obvious, you can see where the rails were. Here, and then here are two little ones. When they are popped out enough, then I can flip it over. Here's one that's already popped up. And I can use the claw on the back of that small hammer and just pull them out. That's what I can do. I have my trash can sitting right beside my workbench. Then when I get a stack of 4 boards at a time done with removing all the nails, I line them up so that I have as little waste as possible on the end that would have been closest to the ground, not the picket end. And then I will batch cut them all at the same time. I'll scooch this over and I'll batch cut all 4 pieces at the same time. This is my last 4, and I've already done all of these. Pulling those nails out and cutting them took me minutes, like really maybe 20 or 30 minutes, not long at all. Whoops, not long at all. And I've got all these really pretty boards for my wall, for my workshop wall. So the next step with this stack of lumber is to get it to the wall. But before I do that, I need to do a couple of prep things on the wall. I need to find the studs, and I'm going to mark them so that I'm sure that when I nail these boards into the wall that I'm actually going into a stud. I want to be sure of that. The other thing, let's see, what else do I have to do? Oh, I already did the other part. Let me show you. So what I already did was to remove all the hooks that were already there, and I also removed the little hardware bin that was right there on the wall. That's down the floor. So this whole area right here from the window to the door going to be all pickets. I don't think I'll go above the door. I might. I probably will not go above the window or below the window. I really only want this area right here to be cleaned up. Well, I say cleaned up. I'm putting chippy painted picket fence pieces up there, so it's as clean as that'll be. Now it's time to start attaching the boards to the wall, and the first step that we had to do was to find the studs, because this pickets are going to be screwed into the studs. That's going to be the safest thing. And I had to get my husband's help. He came over and said that the best thing to do is to find a nail pop. Is that what that's called, Steve?
Yes, a nail pop.
And that's one right there. That's basically where the nail that is used to attach the drywall to the stud, sometimes they pop out a little bit, and that's kind of what happens. So we found one, and then we measured over 16 inches. so that we knew that the other stud to the left of it was 16 inches, because studs are 16 inch on center. It's kind of a standard construction measurement. So from that nail pop, we could go to the left and to the right. I haven't marked that one. Oh yeah, I did. I marked it with a pencil. The great thing is I don't have to worry about covering up any of these lines, because we're going to cover it all up with these cute pickets. So we measured over, and then we just dropped a line all the way down. And Steve uses this thing here. It's, what is that called again?
Plumb bob.
That's called a plumb bob. It's like a weight, and it makes it ensures that you're having a straight line all the way down from where you've attached it at the top, which is what we've done here. So I'll mark the wall all the way across in both directions, so that when I attach the pickets, I'll know exactly where to attach them. It got to be about, I don't know, 7 or 7:30, and I was just getting really tired. Not just sleepy tired, but physically tired. And I was realizing that the tools were getting heavier for me, and moving around and up and down the ladder and all of that. And I just wanted to stay safe, and I knew that my muscles were extended past what I should have done. Anyway, I got this far. I've got a little ways to go. That bottom section, I'm going to do that today. Let me just show you up close what I've been doing. Remember, we found the studs, and I'm not sure you can see the pencil lines, but the pencil lines go all the way down to the bottom. And then I would just run my row of screws right up that line. They're on and off a little bit, and that's okay. The beauty of using this reclaimed lumber, these reclaimed picket fence pieces, is that there are already so many holes in the pickets that having a few extras with screws here and there and mismatched and not lined up, it just really does add to the whole look of it. So I'm really happy with that. I'm going to get busy and do this last section here. Hopefully it'll go fairly smooth, because I only have two, whatever these things are called, sockets. I don't remember what they're called, but right up in here, you're going to see this area here. I had a lot to work around, and that took me some time. There was one in the middle. I had to work around a couple in the middle, another one, and then I'll be building a little door for the fuse box so we can still access it, but I can cover it up. That's kind of the main purpose. And I know I did not trim out these the way that you're supposed to. Typically you would remove this piece here and it would be pulled out so that the cover sits flush on top of this. I'm not going to go through all the hassle of that. Not for this project. Maybe if it were something inside the house. Well, of course, inside the house I would do that. But out here in my workshop, that is not what I'm going to do. I just want to make the background aesthetic of this my style, and this is how I'm doing it with the skills that I have, and so far I'm really happy with it. I'm going to get it all finished today, and yeah, let's see how this goes. My husband came in the garage and I said, hey hun, can you get that top area? The truth is I don't have the upper body strength to have my hands over above my head and attaching the pieces high up. So he volunteered. He said, I'll do it. So we're kind of tag teaming it here. I'm handing him the boards. I'm having them cut and ready to go, and he's attaching. Now he's using a tool called a
driver.
What's the difference between this and the drill thing that I was using?
So what this will do is, as the screw reaches resistance, it will turn it a little bit, and every time it does, kind of hits the screw a little bit till it drives it in.
All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and link this one down in the description below in case you want to get this and a regular kind of drill.
So if you're doing any long-term construction or deck work, this is the tool to have.
Okay. Good tip.
So it sets the screw in there. That's what you hear, that little rumbling noise is. It's setting the screw.
All right, well, thanks for doing this part, and we're going to get to it. I got to go so I can cut the next board. All the boards are up. I'll show you that here in a little bit, and we are making the door. So we did some measurements. It happens to be that 3 pickets is exactly what we need as far as the width, and then we decided which way the arrows, I call these arrows, they're the picket part. We decided which way they were going to go. We dug through our pile, and we found these old hinges. He's got those attached, and we're using paint sticks to attach these boards. It's not a heavy-duty door. Really, the reason I was thinking paint sticks was so that there wouldn't be added thickness. We've already got the thickness of the picket. This is really narrow, so we're using glue and screws to attach. This is like a strapping, and we're going to apply 3 of them across the sides of the door, and then hang the door to cover the fuse box. The wall is done. From top to bottom, you can see the top up there. We did not go all the way to the top because the boards would have to be ripped lengthwise. I didn't feel like going through the hassle of that, so we left it, and I was able to get down to the baseboards. You can see there that I went all the way down to the baseboards. We made a cute little door. I'll show you the end result here in just a bit. For now, I gotta get this place cleaned up. Sawdust is all over because of that chop saw. It creates a lot of mess, and I want to get it cleaned up. I still have a little plan for this wall. I'm thinking about it while I clean up. All right, so you saw there in that clip at the end, I started to run out of the clear glaze that I was using to go over all of the picket boards. So what I did was I grabbed the ceiling paint that we had left over from painting inside of our home. I watered it down to the consistency of that glaze, and I knew that the color would be similar. But just to be sure, I started with the glaze that I had left over about hip height and worked my way up. And then when I had to mix the ceiling paint with water, I did that on the area down below just in case that there was a little bit of a difference in color. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal, but at least it would be hidden by my workbench. Turns out I don't see a color difference at all. I'm real happy with how the whole thing brightened the pickets, but still kept the integrity of what the pickets are all about. I hope that you enjoyed this video of our garage workshop makeover. If you did, could you give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel? I would love it if you would join our journey so that you can watch us do the projects that we do right here in this space. I'm so looking forward to it. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time. Yep. And 3rd time's a charm. Don't do it any more than 3 times. Makeover. Who am I?